We are recording. All right, you guys. So this Zoom, we're talking to the Dashing Diamonds top distributor enrollers for February 2019. So let me start off by saying almost everybody on here went to conference. So they are coming hot out of conference, being around the culture, getting all these hot tips that we have going on. So basically, we're just going to go one at a time, and I want you guys to give me just like, you know, your name, your rank, how long you've been in the company, and how many DTs you enrolled, and like, did you just talk to those people like that day and they signed right up, or have you been following up with them since the beginning of your business, and because of this deal they finally started and they've been watching your journey this whole time? So just tell people, you know, what kind of consistency you had, how many times you talked to these people, because some people just get frustrated when they don't sign up on the spot, and I want people to realize that it's just talk to people a lot of times before they sign up. So I'm just going to go with my screen here, and Marissa, I'm going to have you go first. So Marissa actually snuck in and tied for, what was it, 6th? So we were going to do top 6. And I did it a little bit early to kind of pump people up, and she came sliding in there at the end and tied for 6th. So we bumped her in. And so just give us a little intro and just kind of roll with it.
Okay, well, I'm Marissa. I'm sorry, my boyfriend just fell. I was paid last month as a Ruby. I kind of lost that, or January, and then like last month I kind of lost it a little bit, but it was kind of slow for everybody. Yeah, but I went to conference, and it was literally like the most amazing thing of my whole life. I was like so inspired, so motivated, everything. So like all of the distributors that have kind of like, where like you make those posts saying who wants to make $500 a month, and then they respond, and then you send them, you know, like what you do, and then they never respond. Those people were kind of like, hey, like, what are you doing, or how are you getting this bonus, or how are you in Florida right now? So I just kind of talked to them about it, like, oh, actually we have this like great deal going on right now for like $20, and that I think was like 2 of my distributors that I signed up. It was like from that. And then the other ones, it was just kind of like posting about it, being like, hey, like, what do you have to lose from this opportunity? You lose $20, like, if you end up not liking it, which is very unlikely. So most people were just like, you know what, okay, like, let's do it.
Were you using polls, or just, you know, making these posts saying, hey, who would be interested?
I think I only did like 1 poll, and I didn't really get a lot of interaction. And then when I made the 1 post, I made it on Facebook, I got a lot of comments then, and then a lot of people that just like direct messaged me like, hey, I want to make $500 a month, like, how do you do that? And then I'd be like, oh, well, I do this.
I know when I started, I basically built a diamond in my first 5 months strictly from Facebook. I had a low Instagram following. Instagram kind of takes a while to take off when you hit about 1,500 to 2,000 followers, and then that's when you really start to get that extra interaction going, and like Instagram like starts to take over. But Facebook tends to be a little bit more personal, and a lot of my distributors come from Facebook. We can see each other tagging each other and stuff, and it's a little bit harder on Instagram unless you're like doing it in your stories and like tagging somebody. But I know for me, it was just like them seeing kind of like the culture, and like you said, like you kind of documented your journey and hanging out with people, and you were in Florida, and like you were there for like a vacation, and so that like does tie in, and just being able to tag on Facebook is really nice. So how many times did anybody sign on the spot for you?
Yeah, I actually just had one girl, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday. She literally, she commented on my post or whatever, because I said, hey guys, like, I have all these spots open, I have a lot of orders, like, I need some help with this. And she was like, hey, yeah, I'll help you out. And I like explained what I did, and I was like, you know, is that what you're looking for? And she's like, yeah, I just became a new homeowner, so like extra money per month is only going to help me, so why not? And it's only $20. And I was like, yeah, exactly. And I was like, can you sign up right now? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, really? Oh, here you go. I love those. Those are absolutely my favorite. Do you think that before conference signing distributors is something you had struggled with, or how long have you been in again?
I've been in since October.
October.
So I got in on the $20 business kit deal for the early bird tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And it really didn't take off for me. Like, I think I only used like 2 of the codes or something. Like, it really just didn't take off for me at that point. I think because I was so new, I didn't really know, like, I didn't know what I was doing enough to be able to like talk to other people about it. I was just kind of like using like scripts and stuff like that. So I was like, oh yeah, like this is what, like, I don't know. And now I was actually able to be like, oh my god, yes, like for the past 5 months it's been doing this for me. I've been able to do this. I've been using these products and it's been awesome. And you know, like I have my own personal experience and my own personal results to be able to like back up.
Now, have you been staying consistent since the day you joined? Like, have you been talking like even though you said you didn't really know what you were doing, but like, were you still like making an effort to make life posts and kind of like start to have these conversations?
Yeah, definitely. I was still trying to be like, you know, like a lot of people that I talked to in the beginning will be like, well, how much have you gotten paid yet? And I'm like, well, I haven't even got my first check yet, but like I'm on the track to averaging this much per month. And, you know, this is what I've been able to do so far. And like, this is, you know, what I'm projected or whatever the case is. And I'm like, you know, this can be pretty much anything you want. Like if you only want $200 a month, then like you can make it that. But if you want more, you can make it that too. You just have to like put in the work.
Now, when you were talking to these people last month, did you have to have any help with your conversations?
I think with like some like one or two of them, I would like message Heather and be like, how should I word this? Because I don't want to like scare them away. Because a lot of people will say like, what's the catch? And I'm like, well, there's not really any catch. I guess the only catch would be like being commission qualified, but that's kind of like any sales job. Like you have to, any other sales job, you have to meet some sort of quota so that you can get the commission from that.
The catch is you're your own boss. And so
right.
if you just like can't hold yourself accountable and stay disciplined and show up to work, you won't get a paycheck. So it's really like, you know, so like what I want people to understand with that question is like, even though some of us who are like good at enrolling people, we still need help with conversations. And I want anybody who's watching this who feels uncomfortable having conversations with distributors or just not feeling strongly, just like confident about it yet, you reaching out to us and sending us a screenshot is not bothering us. I can't believe how many people are like, I don't want to send you a screenshot. I feel like I'm bothering you. I'm like, girl, this is my job. Like my job is literally to help you with this conversation. And so, you know, after a while, like I don't think anybody helps me with my conversations anymore unless it's like a real specific question that I've never received ever, which is very rare. So anybody watching this, like you guys can be like mass enrollers too. Like you stay consistent. If you need help with a conversation or you don't feel confident about it yet, reach out to your enroller, reach out to your leader, ask for help. And like Marissa said, she didn't really know what she was doing in the beginning, but like she was kind of like told to sort of do this. And so as she has stayed consistent and she has started to have an experience with the business, she can start being more personal about it and just kind of connecting more with potentials. If you had one tip, what would you give to people?
I mean, just be
enrolling distributors.
Like, yeah, I think it would just be to be yourself because, you know, especially getting personal with somebody and like stressing the fact that like, I will be training you like one-on-one, like I'm going to be giving you the tools to be successful. It's up to you to like run with those. But, you know, I'm going to be there right with you. Like, because I think that's a lot of people where they get scared, and a lot of people that have signed up for me that were like It Works distributors like a year or two ago or whatever, and they just had no guidance whatsoever. They had no idea what they were doing, so they kind of just like crumbled because they didn't know how to be their own boss. They didn't know how to do all that kind of stuff. You know, they're like, oh my god, that's what I need, is like this personal training. So it's like being honest with somebody and being like, hey, like send me those screenshots, tell me like if you need help posting, let me know, and like I'll send you a post real quick that you can, you know, personalize to you or something like that. So it's just being you.
Yeah, I think that helps a lot of people. So many people are like, I just don't know, you know, what to do, or I just don't have any experience in this. I'm not a salesperson. I'm like, good. Like if you can be coachable, that's it. That's all I need you to be 18. I need you to have a smartphone, and you need to be coachable. Those are like the three things. Like if you can be open-minded and coachable, I can teach you literally exactly what I do and what I say. I can hold your hand every step of the way. No question will go unanswered. So just like giving them just that confidence. Like if that's all that's holding you back is you're just like, I just don't know what to do. It's like, then you're Gucci, because I will just teach you everything. So, not letting that, I think when we're new, we don't feel confident ourselves. Like we can't train somebody new because we're new. And so also just helping people with like, hey, like I will help you train this person, and just knowing that we have each other's backs is helpful. And so just kind of stressing that to anybody watching this, even though like you're new and you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing myself. Like that's okay. Like still go find people, talk about this business, kind of like wing it like you did in the beginning, and just like I just kind of started, and we are here to help you guys do that, and we can train you guys at the same time. So like don't let that hold you back from wanting to enroll and like grow your paychecks. So all right, well thank you, Marissa. All right, I'm going to go to Heather. I'm going to drop down right below there. Hello.
Hi. Can you
hear me? Give me your intro for people who don't know you.
I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm Heather. I'm 21. I'm from Michigan, and I'm a diamond leader. I have been in this business for a year and almost a month now, which is crazy. Yes. It's so crazy. It went by so fast.
Yes.
So now I'm working on double diamond, and I'm super excited. So yeah, it's promotion month.
So you are actually somebody who has been pretty consistent with enrolling distributors every month. It doesn't necessarily like mass enrolling, but like there are some people who have like a huge dry spell, and it's like very rare. So like what can you give people to try, like completing your steps to success is just 3 people. So like at least helping somebody be able to like do that. Like what are your tips for being able to bring new blood in every month?
Honestly, I add so much. Like I add so much, it's crazy. Like I'm constantly, every time I'm scrolling, I'm adding. Like my scrolling time, I do take time to scroll because I want to see what people are saying too on Facebook. I want to relate to people. I want to message people. So I do take some time to scroll, but while I'm doing that, I'm adding. Like I am constantly adding that. I don't even know how many people I'm adding. And it gets to the point where Facebook will tell me, like I can't add anymore. So I want to get to that point as much as I can. Like I want my Facebook to freak out. So I do that as much as I can. Not so much on Instagram, kind of stuck with Instagram, but I'm working at, like you said, once you get to that point. So I'm getting to that point, but it's taking a minute. So we're working on it. But definitely with Facebook, I add so much. And that really, really helps bring in new blood, as well as host a post for customers. But even like that helps with distributors too, because if they can't afford it as a customer, they might be a distributor or know somebody, So that also obviously grows your market. But I would say like life posts, really, really, really like being consistent with life posts is really beneficial because, if this is happening all the time in your life, this can happen in anyone's life, So you want to show like how easy this just goes on in your life, how this just happens, and it'll show that it'll happen in their life too. So I like to do that, just show like, whenever I'm having a keto energy or greens, or if I'm just talking to my team, like it's just happening. So I really like to enforce like it goes on throughout my life every single day. And even if like Andrew says like, oh my gosh, you posted about this again, I don't care. Because yes, I posted about this again. Everyone needs to know it's happening every day in my life. Because it's big. It's an important thing.
You've just been able to, and this is what we want it to be, you guys, like incorporating the business and the products into your life. You don't become this salesperson, join my team, buy my products. It's, this is me. This is why I joined, and this is how I work it in through my day and how it benefits me and how I can help benefit other people. And so do it. It's really, really easy to incorporate. The other day, like I went on a run and I like wore my It Works sports bra and leggings. It's like, even though like I'm putting my phone down and taking time to run, there are people who are like watching me and I'm wearing my It Works here and I'd be like, what is It Works? So what's that your Okay, I love you, baby.
It's so crazy to see your hair in a bun.
It's you what?
It's so crazy to see your hair in a bun.
Oh, I know. I don't even have a hair tie in it. My hair is just long enough to like
oh my gosh.
And it holds itself. Hurry up. Get out. I'm on
Go HSN.
Go. Sorry,
Mason wants to learn.
he had a later nap, and he's been a butt today. So just pick him up and take him.
There he goes.
He didn't hurt you, baby.
Oh.
Oh, his cat? Yeah. Where is it? Time out. See, we're working it into my life. It's fine.
Yeah, see? It happens. It works. It's going on through our lights every day.
Nope, go with Daddy.
Good luck to my room.
Yes.
I feel like I should be talking or something.
He was like playing guitar in his room. And he's like, if he comes in there, just text me. And I was like, come get him. He's in here. He's just been he's just been so awful today. Okay, so do you use poll? I know you said you don't use Instagram I know you post to Instagram. You just don't add as much, but are you using polls or are you posting just to live posts? How are you reeling people and getting interested?
Well, my Instagram doesn't give me polls. I had a different Instagram that did, but this one doesn't. So when I do polls, I do it on Facebook. It's super annoying, but we just deal with it. So it happens, it's whatever. But yeah, so I'll just do polls every once in a while on Facebook. I honestly haven't in 2 months. But most of everything is from messaging and just interacting with people. I'm constantly interacting with people on Facebook and Instagram. I'm commenting as much as I can on people's posts. And really just messaging as much as I can, because even just commenting on their stories, any interaction, that's basically what I'm doing.
Now, how many times are you following up with people? The people that sign up on average, what is it for you? Because I know you had to be followed up with a lot.
Yeah, I did.
Before Allie got you in.
I did. I don't know. I would probably say every 2 weeks to a month, just depending on where we left off in the conversation. It just depends on every person, really. If they gave me a date, then obviously on that date or a little bit ahead of time if there's a deal going on. But if not, then in the next week to 2 weeks, I'll just be like, hey, so what questions do you have for me? And I always ask that, what questions do you have for me? Because they always have something. So shoot it at me. I want it all, and I want it all on the table right now. Let's answer these questions. So I try to do a lot of voice messages to answer their questions, get super personal. And that way, they're okay, cool. You understand what I'm talking about. And they feel super comfortable talking to me. So
there are people just love hearing me yell at my kids. They're oh my God. I'm just ignore, I'm so normal. And I gotta yell at my kids in the middle of working, but
believe it or not, I yell at my cat a lot throughout the day.
Yeah. Have you ever had somebody say, yes, I'm going to sign up, and then ghost you?
Oh yeah. All the time. Marissa did.
Marissa.
Well, she's over here for me. I don't know if that's where she is for you.
Yeah,
but she's over here for me. So she did. But it's fine because I did, too. Everyone did at some point. But yeah, definitely. And I've had people that ghosted me for over a year now, and I don't message them. It's at the point where, okay, you see where I'm at and you see where you could be. So I'm not going to be on your butt. If you want this, you'll come to me. I will focus on people that want this and just keep growing my market, because I'm not here to watch you all day. You can watch me all day if you want to, but that's not going to get you anywhere.
And that's what's nice about growing your market, you guys. You don't know when you're going to add your next ambassador diamond.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. And so a lot of people lately, it's just, yeah, we know some of the people we sign, but there are a lot of strangers who come in, customers and distributors. And it's I don't even know when I added you. I could have added you yesterday. I could have added you a month ago. I don't really know how long you've been watching me, but there are people that I'd never seen before in my life or talked to before in my life, and they're on the team now, and it's because of growing that market. So if you want to increase your chances of signing people, especially if you're oh, I got 3 dates on my calendar, I'm good. These people are guaranteed gonna sign, and I don't have to push anymore for 3 more people. And it's no, people ghost you. You have to stay consistent. You just keep adding more people. Because I want to find that next ambassador diamond before Heather does. Yeah. So if I'm taking a day off of my business, I know Heather's probably not, and she's out there adding, and she can add these people first before I do. And so yes, we're one team, one mission, but at the end of the day, you choose to take time off for your business and not be consistent. Just keep in mind that other people are being consistent, and other people are working, and they are adding, and Heather's going to get to them first. So it's one of those things where you got to make time for it in your day, make sure you're doing at least your daily minimums, and then, start working yourself up. What is one tip you would give people when it comes to being able to enroll distributors consistently?
Honestly, just being, I don't know, I guess connecting with people. Like, seriously, just getting to know, like, don't let them give you a BS answer for what they could do with $500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Get a real answer. Like, seriously, talk to them. Like, what could this do for you? And then you connect with them and relate to them and be like, yeah, I understand. I was there. Like, you have to relate to where they are and then help them get to where they want to be and, like, see that. And you can't do that by just throwing information at them. So just walking them through it and, being comfortable with them. That's, like, my biggest tip, honestly. It's not giving, like, all this time in the world, just to have a general conversation, but still caring about what's going on in their life and wanting to incorporate this, like, the best way you can.
Yeah. People join you. They don't join the business. They don't buy the products. They buy you. They join you. And so, Heather, do you have this, like, magical secret, like, script that you keep hidden to enroll people?
I do use a script. I do, but I tweak it.
I meant, like, one that you've never, like, shared with people. Like, you magically sign all these people because there's this magic script that you're keeping in your back pocket, and that's the reason why I'm not signing people, because I don't have Heather's magical script.
Nada.
So, yeah. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person and the wrong thing to the right person. You can word vomit on people, and that's what I used to do in the beginning of my business. And I still sign people. It makes me throw up when I go back and I read these messages that I was sending people, but people were still, like, signing. It's just, like, being able to evolve and learn as time goes on, and doing trainings and learning tips from other leaders and stuff on how they word things. Like you said, like, what questions do you have? Not, do you have any questions?
Yeah.
They're going to be like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
What questions do you have? Like, tell me. And so just, like, little tips like that have just made it a lot of a difference for me when I started working on, trying to enroll more people. It was just like, what can I get? Even if it was one thing from a Zoom, if it was one thing, it's like, I don't even think I could benefit. See, now it's coming out. I don't think I could benefit anything from the Zoom, but, like, I still watch it. And then I literally walk away with at least, like, one thing where I'm like, ooh, that sounds actually like a really good idea. Let me try that. So keep an open mind too, you guys. Even if, like, you're like Heather or I or all these other people on here, like, if you think that, like, you've got it down, just know that, we still learn and we still take things and try different things to get results. So, all right. Well, thank you, Heather. All right, Jayden, you ready? You're at the top here.
Okay.
Hi, girl.
Hey.
All right. So give us a little background and then kind of just start giving us your tips and, like, what you did last month to enroll some people.
Okay. I'm Jayden. I'm from North Dakota. I'm 23. I joined the business in October, and I signed on pretty fast with Leslie, I guess.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and I guess I talked to you kind of too with Leslie. I guess pretty much all of my distributors I enrolled last month signed on pretty much that day or the next day. I'm not even gonna lie.
Sometimes that happens, though. It is, like, literally a big mix of both. I remember when we released the $10 deal, I signed 38 distributors that month because I had, like, 2 years worth of a potential distributors list. So by the time that, like, I had been working my business for the last 2 years, there had never been a deal. It was always $100. And I had this gigantic list because I was working my business every day. And then they released that $10 deal, and I enrolled 38 distributors that month. And it was all these people were like, I constantly followed up with them. They just didn't have that $100. And finally this opportunity came. So I want to tell you guys too, like, you don't wait to start working your business when a deal hits. The reason I signed 38 people that month is because I'd been working the previous 2 years every day to get that gigantic list, to be able to sign those 38 people. So what you do today helps you tomorrow. And so I want you guys to know, like, we never know when things are coming up. And, you might look at Heather, who's, like, signed a crap ton of distributors versus somebody who, like, just joined. They're like, I I got like one person, but I can't find any more. And I can see Heather over here. She's like adding a whole bunch of new teammates to the team every day. It's like, don't compare your chapter 1 to Heather's chapter 30. And like, understand that, she's been working her business longer to set herself up for success. For when those times, and that's the same thing with bonuses. Like, don't wait until a bonus is released to start working your business. Like, I earned a $20,000 bonus in February. I joined in October. They released the bonus beginning of February because that was conference, and I was one person charted from Diamond the beginning of February, and it was like I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know I was going to go Diamond when I joined in October. It was like I just did what I was supposed to do every single day, and it just so happened that I just set myself up pretty and was able to get it done. So like, keep that in mind too, you guys. But like Jayden said, sometimes like it's the first time you ever talk to them and they're just interested, and maybe it was people she added yesterday. It's just like kind of luck of the draw. Like, everybody's story is different. So go ahead, talk a little bit more on that. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I know one of them was my classmate, which she really shocked me actually that she wanted to sign up, and then she signed up. I gave her the first video and she decided she didn't want to do it anymore. So
yeah,
I wasted a code on her, but anyways, and then I guess the other one I guess was my boyfriend, but so technically me, but anyways, and one of them was, I guess I shouldn't say every one of them signed on right away, because one of them, she actually, when I joined this in October, she wanted the hair, skin, and nails, and so I reached out to her and she's like, yeah, super interested, I'll buy. And so I gave her everything. She's like, I'll order after work. Never did. Then she completely ghosted me. I literally followed up with her every week, and she completely ignored me. And then she unfollowed me, and she re-added me on Instagram. And then my post on Facebook, or my post on Instagram a couple days ago about the $20 codes and stuff like that. And then she's like, okay, yeah, I'll join. And I was just like, what? And
you will see every type of situation in this business when it comes to people signing. I'm telling you guys, if you just stay consistent and just do what you're supposed to do, and just like, don't worry about all these random things happening, like, it will eventually happen, and these people will come around. But it's like, are you going to quit the day before your next ambassador Diamond joins you? You know what I mean? Like, some people are like, oh, it's just like, I've been doing this for so long, and like, these people have unfollowed me and she's ghosted me for so long. It's just, maybe this isn't for me and I quit. But it's like, if you would have just stayed one more extra day, she was going to join you the next day. And she actually was like a Jade Hooper. And like, she just went to somebody else because you just couldn't hang in there. So you're going to see every type of situation in this business. And it's one of those. Allie unfollowed me a couple times and then became my customer. And then she was like, oh, I'll do it so I can, make enough money to pay for the products I'm using. And then she's my first Diamond, my first double. And it's like, what happened? Because her story is just not what you would think a runner would be. And so it's just funny hearing where everybody comes from, and like, how many times were you followed up with as a distributor?
It was just once, I believe.
Well, we had a phone call.
Yep. Yeah, because it was like the week before, Leslie like reached out to me, like this random lady added me on Instagram. I'm like, what the heck? So I like read her message, and I was like, something, like I said, I kind of always wanted to join Networks, but everybody I knew who was part of the business quit. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to. I don't know anybody in the business. So when Leslie reached out to me, I'm like, okay, this is like weird. So yeah, and then I was thinking about it, talking to Leslie, and then she's like, well, how about you talk to Caitlin? So then we did like a phone call with you as I was sitting in the field harvesting. So yeah, it wasn't very long actually. She really didn't have to keep following up. She just kind of like made sure that she'd kind of, how do I want to say it, like made sure that I knew she was still there yet. So like my pictures I post, she'd like interact with everything, and that's huge. I have learned that.
Yeah, good. What kind of tips can you give people for, just because I mean, you've been bringing people in consistently too, like I know you've had some struggles, but everybody literally has struggles. Everybody. So like what kind of tips do you have for enrolling distributors for people?
I guess one of the big things is a lot of times I don't like really reach out to people. Like, I don't know if you want to call it cold messaging.
Just like blatantly, like, hey,
yeah,
you want to make some money?
I don't really do that, I guess. I normally reach out to people for products, and then that's where I start it. So if they don't have the money for products, then I flip it, you know, and say like, oh, okay, and then I'll introduce the business. So that's how I do it, and that's kind of how I've been kind of teaching like the girls on my team, and it's actually been helping them like a lot, you know, because they didn't like to reach out and like ask, and I don't know how to really reach out and ask somebody like, hey, you want to make some extra money from your phone? Like, it sounds like sketchy to me.
Well, I mean, if somebody were to like come to me and be like, hey, do you want to make some money from your phone? I would have been like blocked you. Wouldn't have given you as like a second like chance, especially if I'd never seen anything. And this is why like I make live posts, because if you interact on a live post I did, I assume you're interested, and I'm just like, hey, like thanks for the love on my post earlier. I'm looking to actually help, you know, 2 more people make some extra money from their phones, and I wanted to reach out and see if you were interested. Would you like some more info? Or can I get you some more info or whatever? So like that's how I reach out to message people, or I do polls and I'm like, you know, how much extra money do you need? Do you need 200 to 500? And the other option is 500 plus. So there's never like a negative for people to vote on too. They're like 500 plus. And just like a click of a button. And it's like at the end of the day, like I still have to reach out and message those people. And I'm like, hey, thanks for voting on my poll. But like you said, turning the conversation around too is huge, because if you reach out and they're like, you know, I would love to, it's just like not in my budget right now. It's like, okay, number one, you've already told me you need some extra money. Like, like my foot is in the door. Like, hey, like like I totally understand, since money is tight, would you instead be interested in learning what I do to make an extra income from my phone? If so, I would love to help you. So like I like to say that it's like, I would love to help you. You've already told me that you need some extra money. Let's get this going. And so it's a perfect turnaround point. So don't ever take like I'm sorry, I just can't like afford it right now. Take that as an opportunity you could change this person's life. Like you don't know why it's not in their budget right now. And like they could be seriously downplaying their situation, and just simply offering it, it could literally change somebody's entire life, entire family, just simply because you didn't take that and you're like, oh, okay, I'll like go somewhere else. And it's like, no, like let me help you. So that is a huge tip. I do love that. Do you have anything else?
I guess not really. I try to, like, when I am talking to them though, I try to sound like as human as possible.
Yeah.
I don't try to sound scripty, I guess, or like I'm reading it, copying it from somebody, you know, or some place, I guess I should say, either, you know, and I think that's helped a lot too. And then like you said, as soon as like they ask you, yes, I want more info. So I tell them, you know, what we do. And after that, then I do ask like, what questions do you have for me? I always do ask that. And then most of them will either like not say anything to that, or they'll have some type of question. I mean, most of the time it's how do you make money, even though I just said it and they'll like mess it up.
I'm like, you actually just like scroll up real quick, like just like resend the middle of that paragraph. It's like and then be like, oh, okay, I get it. But yeah, like just kind of keeping it simple and just like being everybody's best friend. And like that's how I really am in real life. Like I get along with every type of person. It is very rare for me to not like somebody or get along with somebody. So just like literally like I'm like, hey, sorry, I'm yelling at my kids real quick. The other day I was talking to somebody and I kicked the Nerf gun in the dark. It was like, oh, like screamed. I was like, I just kicked a Nerf gun. And they laughed. And but like, it was real, like just real life. And just, you know, being on the voice messaging really does help show that kind of your energy too. Like if they can hear how excited you are, energy is contagious. So if they can hear that you're excited, I always use exclamation points too, you guys. Like if somebody like replies to me with like a period, I'm like, what are you angry about? Like if it's just a period, I'm like, girl, smile. Like I can't even see their face. And then I'll just be like super excited and use a bunch of exclamation points too and smiley faces. And then like they'll like make up this long sentence, but then they put like one exclamation point in there. I'm like, oh, we're getting there. And then like I'll reply back and be like super excited. By the end of it, they're like yelling at me. I'm like, yes. that happens. I can't tell you how many times I've just like seen somebody like use just periods, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, be excited. And so by the end of the conversation, they're like using exclamation points and telling me they're excited. So even without like voice messaging, you can still do it through messages and like the texting and stuff by like, I mean, don't go crazy and send them like 50 with every sentence, but like, you know, with my questions, I'm like question mark, exclamation point, like, what questions do you got? What questions? Like, come on. So that does help too. Just being personal and being excited about it is very contagious. So, all right. Well, thank you. I'm going to move on to Mallory. Oh, Rachel. I was like, Rachel's been gone a long time because I'm looking at the one screen and she's not there. And then I just see her. I was like, no, wait, I just saw her. So I see you twice there. But I'm going to go to Mallory first. I get you. All right. Let's see. All right, Mallory, give us some background.
What's up? I'm so glad it's finally my turn.
Yes.
So I started in July or August.
Okay.
Was super crazy right off the get-go. I was kind of nervous, iffy here and there. I didn't know if I was going to do well. I'm actually charted for Emerald right now, and only a couple. I think one, I just signed a girl, so I think one away from Diamond now, which is super exciting. And when I first started, I was kind of super hit or miss. I was super nervous. I kind of already had I like to think, a decent Instagram. I took pride in it before I started.
Yeah.
So that was the main thing when I started. I was like, I see everybody posting all the time. I was like, I don't want to be like that. I was like, I get nervous. Like I, kind of worked up my Instagram. I don't want people to unfollow me. Like I'm scared that people are going to be like, this is annoying, like whatever. So that was my biggest thing right off the get-go. I was super nervous. Like, what if people unfollow me? What if they don't like it? What do my friends think? So that was my biggest thing right off the get-go. I was super scared about that. And I mean, I still kind of get like that now. Like, oh, they're being annoying, or my friends will like kind of like joke at me. They'll be like, all right, whatever. Like, yeah, I still follow you, but you're making money. That's kind of cool. But like still give me a hard time about it. And I was always one to like super care what people thought of me. So like that was a big hump to get over right off the get-go. But I'm finally getting over that, which makes things a lot easier. I can say that. And a lot of my girls came right after conference as well, because they were like, what are you doing? Like, why do you look so happy down there? Like, what's so exciting? Like, you're posting all these stories. Like, are these people really making that much money? And I was like, yes, they really are. Like, that was my biggest thing when I started. I was like, there's no way that these people are making this much. Like, that's crazy. Like, no way. And then I was like, wow, like, they're doing it. Like, what? I'm doing it too. Like, you can either watch me or you can come along. And a biggest thing that I got 7 girls in 2 days. And I think a big thing that did that, I did the post on Facebook or on Instagram, like I have 7 spots, and I was putting the names in it. So people were actually seeing, okay, maybe she's not all talk. Like, she's just not saying this. Like, okay, I have a Maddie, I have a Selena, I have this. Like, these are real people, real girls. They're seeing that. So they're like, if these other people are doing it and I'm kind of scared, like, why can I not do it too? So that helped a lot right off the get-go, that other people saw that they're enrolling, why can't I? So that helped a lot right out of conference.
I want to say that you were actually number 1 for last month.
Woo! And that's so funny because I had one girl sign up in probably, I don't know, November, December. That was my first distributor I had, and she was super on board for it, and then just kind of fell off. She was like, okay, it's not really what I thought. She quit on me, so I didn't really have anybody. And then I signed my first girl that night when we were at conference. That was my first actual real distributor. Mm-hmm. And then that, like, kind of gave me, like, this is awesome. Like, because it is hard to promote when, like, I can sign LCs like this. Like, that's not hard. But when you're physically the only one doing it, it makes it a lot harder to promote. Like, I can't do this by myself. Like, I can sign the customers, but that can only get me so far. So now I'm so hyped that I actually have people working, and it makes it so much easier. So I'm so proud of myself for that.
Wait, hold on. I also want to chime in and say that one distributor that quit on Mallory, what did she do like this past weekend, Mallory?
She just started working again. She messaged me and was like, hey, like, I keep seeing your posts. Like, I really realized I did need the money. I just didn't really put the effort into it the first time, but I'm seeing, like, you have all these other girls. You're making money. They're making money. Like, I want to do it. Like, I'm willing to actually, like, put in the time and effort now. Like, I want to start working again. So my number 1, my little baby came around again.
And she just signed her first distributor today.
She did.
Oh my gosh, you guys, like, please pay attention. Like, I have had so many people leave and come back because I never stopped. I promise you, I will still be here 5 years from now. And so, like, you're going to have serious FOMO because you're going to still creep and watch me because it's an opportunity you decided to give up. And then you're going to constantly watch somebody who didn't give it up, watch me continue to change. I know what it takes, and we teach you guys what it takes to do this. It's just at the end of the day, I will not stop. I will always win because I will not stop. And so having that mindset and just like, this is a priority. This is what I have to do. Yes, some days I really suck. Some days I fall asleep in my kid's bed and I don't get like half the crap done that I wanted to get done. Like, I get it, but like, I don't like beat myself up about it. I just make up for it the next day. And I just stay on top of it because you guys, now I started this business to help pay for groceries and gas so my husband could get to work and I could like stay home and like just kind of float by. And it turned into, okay, we started paying off extra debt to now we cannot live here without my paycheck. My paycheck has now become an essential part of our lifestyle, and being able to still continue to live freely, own our first home. I'm going to get him a truck. And, you know, I'm paying my van as solely for the last year and a half or however long I've had. I think May will be 2 years. Every single penny has come from this business. So people have seen me literally go from like we've had like one car to like moving up, but you know what I mean? Like, I've just documented my life and my journey, and they've seen me do these things. And like, people who were with me in the beginning who pieced out to like coming around back now, it's like, girl, like, I've just watched you this whole time. I'm ready to do it again. And so like, Mallory, I love that you've already had like your first person that's like started to do that, especially because you're like just taking off, and like, it's not going to be the last person. If you guys haven't had that person yet, it's going to happen for you. But it goes back to what I was saying with Jayden. Like, if you decide to quit tomorrow, like, you never know, like, your ambassador diamond was like ready to join the next day, and like, you dipped and they would have been like, wait, what? So I'm always going to be here, and just like, keep that mindset, you guys. Like, keep being that example, keep showing people like, yeah, Mallory, maybe some of your friends are gonna be like poking at you, but like, when you're making like 10 grand from your phone, and like, you're able to like go out all the time or whatever it is that you want to do, and they're like pinching pennies, you're gonna be like, yeah, like, say something. Like, you just don't have anything else to say right now. Like, that's just kind of like what it is. And I don't have anybody that follows me now that can say anything, because they have seen what it has done for us. And so like, you have to understand that I started with 0 people too. I started with 0 money and 0 people. And I just stayed excited about it. I started posting about it, and I kept going. Yeah, there you go. Did you read Allie's chat? But okay, so give us some of your tips for like signing all these people. How much did you follow up with them? How long did you talk to them? Did you sign anybody up who like you never talked to before and they signed on the spot? Like, kind of what was going on with that?
Well, one thing I actually started doing, and I didn't do before conference, it was one of those things that I knew I needed to do it, but I didn't. Mm-hmm. I have officially been writing down like, okay, you know what, at whoever Instagram interested this on this date, this is what she wanted. I've been actually just writing it all down, because I was just kind of like jotting it down in my notes, but like just kind of like just trying to keep track of it in my head, and that wasn't working. So I actually started writing it down, and like, yellow highlighter is all potential DT. So now I can go back through, okay, here it is. And another thing is, I know like people are all like, oh, you know, be personal and everything. I signed a girl one night because she had me on Snapchat, and she saw that I was drinking a beer, and she was like, that's awesome. Like, I feel like I know you so well. Like, I feel like I can relate, like, brutally relatable. Like, that, I feel like that has helped so much. She was like, I really do feel like businesses like this, you can only be good if you're a salesperson, and you don't strike me like that. Like, you don't strike me as a salesperson. You strike me as somebody that I know, that I knew through mutual friends. Like, I know your boyfriend through mutual friends. Like, I know you're a real person. You're out, you're doing your whatever, having fun. And that's kind of why I decided to be like, okay, she is a real person. She's not just doing this. So that's helped a lot. Just genuinely, my life is on social media. Yeah. I used to not be like that, but it is. Now it is. Like, I just got back from Vegas. Everything was on there. I mean, whatever I'm doing, I mean, my boyfriend kind of hates that I document everything on Instagram. Like, why can't you just go anywhere without taking a picture? That's whatever. But
Same for mine. Like, seriously, I'm like, no, you don't even understand. Like, people are watching, like, what I'm doing with the laundry room right now. He's like, do you really need to take a picture? I'm like, yes, people have an opinion, and they, like, want to see what we're doing.
Fix the hole or not.
Yeah. So, like, they want to know. And Mallory, I was like, she said she's going to Vegas. I want to see what she's looking at. And, like, so I, like, went through, so I wanted to see what you were posting about. So, like, people start to, like, tag along, and they creep. They become fans. Like, they do watch. And have you ever had somebody be like, you know, I've been meaning to reach out to you, but I was kind of, like, nervous? Have you ever had that?
Yes, I had a lot of this after conference. They all start out with the same message, like, okay, finally you got me. Like, just tell me more. Like, that's all, like, kind of an overarching, like, theme of what their messages were. Like, okay, fine, just tell me. Like, I didn't message them to begin with. Maybe they were somebody that, like, I went to school with, but I hadn't really messaged them. I just knew them, and they were just following it, and it was all like, okay, finally, just, like, I give up. Like, basically, just tell me, like, what's going on. Like, I see it. Like, I want to know. Like, I haven't reached out. You haven't reached out to me yet. Like, just tell me what's going on. Like, I've been seeing it. I need to know. Like, I've had a couple of those lately that's like, I see your Instagram's really taking off, and, like, my presets really kicking in. Everyone's like, your Instagram looks so good. Like, just tell me, like, what's going on. Like, it looks like it's working. Like, I want to know.
Yeah. That's the thing too, is, like, sometimes, like, you could post every single day, a life post every single day. And it's just like that one post that somebody just really hits home with. And they're like, that's it. That is it. It was that post. I need to know. Like, I've been reading them for over a year, and for whatever reason, this one is the one that grabs me. And so that's why you have to stay consistent too. You just keep going, because, like, they just have to see it over and over and over again. And eventually there's just one of those posts that is just like, okay, like, that's it. So I loved that you said that they were just like, okay, that's it. Like, I'm ready. I am ready.
Like, Allie was telling me, like, at the beginning, I wasn't. Like I said, I was kind of nervous. Like, I'd be like, all right, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not trying to be annoying, but, like, you want to buy something from me? Like, hi, like, here I am, don't be mad. But now it really is consistent, because, like, I was kind of hit and miss when I first started. Like I said, I was too worried about if people were gonna, you know, make fun of me or whatever. But now that I'm consistent, that's when I'm bringing it in. Like, my first couple months, it was here and there, kind of like family or just, like, texting people I knew. But now that I'm consistent, that's what I'm getting. Like, I'm growing my business. People that I don't know are, you know, just messaging me. It's all because I'm consistent. Like, I didn't really, yeah, I love Allie and she tries to help me, but I'm like, maybe she doesn't know exactly. But now I start listening to her. It's so weird what happens when I listen to her.
So what you're saying, though, is that you started holding yourself a different way, and you started being more confident about what you were doing. And like you said, like, you were kind of like holding yourself back. Like, what are these people going to think? And, like, you're like, now you're like, boom, look at what I'm doing. And they're like, look at what she's doing. Like, and so, like, some of this too is just, like, having that confidence and showing them, like, this is what it's doing for me. I love what I'm doing, sharing the culture, and just, like, they're going to be like, dang. So just holding yourself a different way, because like you said, you were just a little shy, and, like, now that you're just like, here it is, and people are just, they're loving it. And so, you know, holding yourself a different way and just being confident in that, I think, is also huge, along with carrying the energy, but just being confident in it.
And confidence really has skyrocketed, even, like, with messaging now. Like, I hardly ever have to look at scripts. Like, I'll, like, glance at, like, if I'm looking for something. But, like, as far as, like, my group chat that we just started, I mean, I've just been just typing in there. I don't have to, like, look back and, okay, this is what she said. Let me just kind of, like, tweak it, or this is what's in my notes. Mm-hmm. Like, I've been sending a lot more voice messages, which is so weird because I was super nervous right off the get-go. But now I'm like, I'm confident enough. Like, this is what you need to know. Like, listen up. I don't have to look. I'll be just driving, sending voice messages because I know what I'm talking about now, and it feels good.
Thank God Instagram started the voice messaging, because it was just like, there were just times where I just felt like, you know, taking Mason to and from school, I just didn't have time to, like, sit down and, like, even though I have him on, like, text replacement, it was still like, if I can just, like, tell you real quick and, like, yell at my kids while I'm doing this, and, like, I can definitely get some stuff done. Like, if you don't mind me yelling at my kids or while I'm driving, and just, like, being like, I'm confident in what it is that I do. And like you said, just over time, like, learning and just knowing, then you can just put it into your own words, and it sounds more personal. It doesn't sound scripty. And so you just get into a flow of it, but it does take practice. It does take time. And it helps you build that confidence. And so like starting your team chats, I'm really excited for like the shift that's happening for you guys, because you're also going to start growing as leaders, and it's going to help grow your confidence even more. So you're going to come into this new role, which is really, really exciting. You guys are already excelling in it. What last tips do you have for anybody just like enrolling distributors and anything like special that you're doing?
I would say literally just be confident. That's what it is. And if they can feel like they can get to know you, you can do it. And another thing is show people that other people are doing it. Like if other people believe that you're just not posting these just to make yourself look good, or show them that other people are doing it. Because if they think, oh, I know so-and-so, I went to school with her, she did it. We graduated together, played basketball together. She's nothing different than me. If she's doing it, what's stopping me? Like, it's showing them that other people, you're not just putting on this front, that other people are doing it. If they can do it, you can do it. So
yeah, especially like in stories, like sharing those success, like unfold stories that we have. Cause it's literally like same thing with the products, which I need to be sharing more people using the products. Cause lately I've just been using me, but it's like, yeah, like cool, you're using the products every day, Caitlin, but it looks like nobody else in the world is using them, because I never see any other pictures of people using the products. So like if you can do the same thing with distributors, like distributors and customers, show other people doing it too, because they see that it's not just you and that there are other people and people who are different than you. Mallory's not a mom, but like she could share a success story, and like she might have people on her Instagram who are moms and maybe they don't relate to her yet, but as soon as she posts like a success story or just something about like a mom who's being successful in this business, boom, there's a connector right there. And then like she's gonna be like, hey, like I'm a mom too, I just saw that success story, like I thought maybe you had to be like one kind of cookie cutter mold to do this, because she's just been watching you and maybe she didn't have any other people. And so just that is huge too, just showing other people doing this with you. And like the culture, like from conference, I am going to be hitting so hard here these next couple months, literally just culture, showing other people opening subscription boxes. And what I want to do, I actually want to start a thread. I want us all to like get the Hyperlapse app, and the next like box that you get in an auto shipment or an order in that white box, I want you guys to like open it and like be super excited, and we can like keep it in an album. So, cause I shared Corey's the other day. I was like, oh, my girl got her subscription box. And then people are going to be like, oh, what kind of subscription box you got? So kind of just if we had like a whole thread of us like opening boxes, we can be like, oh my God, as long as I'm not like wearing an It Work shirt, because then, like I'm probably a distributor, but if we're like wearing normal clothes and we're like opening boxes, like these people just, oh, Heather's got a customer who's like excited about her subscription box. Thanks, Heather. Like, I think that'll be cool. Just like showing culture, showing other people using the products, and just sharing those success stories. So thank you so much, Mallory, and congratulations on being #1 last month. You guys, $20 codes were extended this month, and so like it's still like a big thing. So if we have somebody or everybody who is in the top DT enrollers, top 6 for 3 months in a row, you guys are getting like a special gift. So, but I can't tell you what it is. But that is something that, is very possible that you guys could do again this month, especially with those codes. Like those are extended. So that's very, very exciting. So, okay. Thank you, Mallory. Also, I've been looking for sign language stuff. I'm really disappointed in you right now.
I'm nervous. I can't.
I love it. I love it.
I've done like 2 live videos and then I don't like to watch them again because I don't like to hear myself talk, but I'm trying to do more comfortable. But
well, just send them to me then.
They're brewing. The ideas are brewing.
Send them to me, because I thoroughly enjoy it. Just like personal message them to me.
Okay, I will.
Here's your word of the day, Caitlin. So, all right. Rachel, are you ready?
Yeah. As
Hey, girl.
as I'm gonna get, I think. I'm super nervous. I don't know why.
I'm just winging it. And this is, I put
too.
here today. So
Okay. So what's up?
give me a little intro. How long have you been in? And did you start taking off right after conference? Because there is a superpower, I'm telling you, in boom season coming out of conference. I want people to understand that so everybody gets their butt to conference next year.
Yeah. So I was interested in the products. I had tried a wrap like once or twice before years ago, but not like really the right way or anything. And then I was talking to Allie about doing a cleanse, and she was also telling me how she was like getting close to her $5,000 promotion at the time. And I like money was really tight, and I ended up just like I was gonna meet her and buy a cleanse off of her, and I just like didn't answer her. And that was in April. And then in October, I just messaged her out of nowhere. And I was like, so if I like sign up right now, do I have to pay anything next month? And she's like, no. I'm like, that's not like what I want to do, but I just want to make sure. And we started talking about it, and I started October 1st, and I've tried, like, I feel like I've given up on a lot of things in my life, and I want to quit doing that. So this was the first thing that I was like, okay, I'm not going to give this up. Like, if I start this, I'm not giving up. There's no going back. It's going to have to work. So
some people are like that. It's all about breaking the head. Like you said, just giving up on yourself, or like, so for me, like slipping up with like my diet is huge for me. I'm in such a bad habit of just like telling myself it's okay. I can eat 6 Reese eggs in one sitting and that's fine. Like I didn't die yesterday, so like I could do it again. Allie, put it away. She's got these cakes or whatever. But like, just like you said, like not giving up on yourself. Be like, I'm just so tired of starting over that like if I just don't quit, I won't have to have that feeling of starting over again or being disappointed in myself. And so there's a lot of confidence and pride that comes with, you know, sticking it out, because it's not an easy road. Like you guys too that are coming into, you know, having these like high enrollments, or you might hit dry spells at one time, you know, like cool that everybody's doing really well right now. Understand that it's not always going to be like that. And so, you know, there's going to be those rough roads where you're going to have to like stick it out. And yeah. Okay. So give us your tips for enrolling.
So I think that I did a good job of staying consistent, at least with something on my permanent post or my story every day. Even if I didn't get up everything that I wanted to, I got something up. I mentioned something almost every single day. And then when it came, like right now, since everybody has money now because it's like tax season and stuff, it's come in handy. So now I am like having people come out of the woodworks that they were like watching me for so long, but they didn't have the money. They didn't even interact with me at all. And then they just like hit me up like, hey, so it's only $20 right now. So if I wouldn't have stayed consistent, or if I would have given up, you know, halfway into November when I was a month and a half in the business, I wouldn't have these people coming to me now. So that brings me to my tip, which is self-development, because I have to watch it like almost every day. Just even if I wasn't in the business, it's like a whole new thing I didn't realize I was missing.
Yeah, no, same for me. I had no clue what self-development was, or like personal development, all that stuff. And I wasn't really a negative person before this business. I was a huge worrywart. I didn't know anything about manifesting, or just like, you know, what you put out there is like what you attract. And I just didn't. And so that alone, like, yes, we get paychecks, but like the friendships, the personal development, and like growth that I've been giving as like a human being is, I would give all my money back to, like, if I had to choose between keeping my money or keeping my personal development, I would give all my money back to keep all the personal development and personal growth that I have done through this business, because it has just been it's changed my life in other areas too, aside from just learning how to be confident in this business, but just in life in general, like giving myself a backbone. I was somebody you could kind of like walk over a little bit. Not so much anymore. Like I'm super nice. But I will stand my ground now. And I love that it's kind of given me a backbone to just stand up for myself and have this confidence and just not be afraid. So I'm glad that you said that, because that is huge, because not everybody's got a brain cell for this. And it's something that we have to grow into. And that personal development is what is going to get you there. So what kind of personal development do you like to do? Do you watch YouTube videos or podcasts, read books?
I never stick with books. So I watch YouTube videos on the way to work. I'll set it, like not watch it obviously, but like set it there and listen to it. And most of the time it's like just people telling me I can do it. Like I can keep, like you can do it. Like just talking me out of my own like reasons to not keep trying, or reasons to look at everything negatively. So yeah, I usually just Google like if there's someone I've been watching, or YouTube, I mean, like Jade Hooper motivation, or Cheyenne Knox motivation, or like what the one you just did with Hope. I watched that one. I'm like 30 minutes into that one. And it's just good to hear, like, getting over why you think you can't do it. Like, sometimes you need that reminder, and I need it a lot. And I think that if I didn't, take time to remind myself that every day, it's really easy to get in a negative cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to, like, consciously stop that and stop thinking that way.
And I think from hearing, like, from the other leaders who are like, listen, like, I went through this too. And so we go back to, like, our potentials relating to us. I relate to other leaders. It's like, I felt like I was alone, maybe struggling with this certain area, but it's like knowing that I'm not alone and that these people, like, push through it. And this is what they did. And just being able to relate to other people in the business who are struggling, in certain areas of their business that, like, match. So, like, Jade and I, like, the reason we connected, it was right before I moved, probably October. I was, like, invisible to her. Like, that's how I felt. Like, I didn't even know she was our upline. Then I got into the Diamonds page, and then, like, it was just, I felt like I messaged her a couple times and she just never responded, like, never. And I was like, oh, she just hates me. There's this, like, one live she did that I just bawled my eyes out. And I voice messaged her, like, crying, like, thank you so much for everything you just said. Because everything that you just said was everything I was feeling in my business. And I felt so alone and I felt so helpless. And we, like, connected. And it was just, like, that helped me get out of that. Like, even that personal development of just, like, relating to somebody and knowing that you're not alone and that, like, you can get through whatever it is that you're feeling or thinking. There is a positive to it. And so just helping get over that too is super helpful. So, now I know you said you had, like, some people are just, like, now coming to you. I've had somebody who's like, yeah, I've been watching your story for 2 years and they've never liked or commented or interacted on anything ever. I'm like, who are you? Like, where did you come from? How often were you, like, following up with people? Some of these people that you signed, were they, like, right off the bat, or were they people that you kind of have been watching you since you started?
So let's see. In the beginning, I would say I have to think of it, like, person by person. I did sign a couple off, like, right off the bat, and then there were some, I would call them, like, silly ones. Like, my one friend, she did not feel like going out to her car because it's cold to get her card. And I could have, like, very easily forgotten to follow up. So if I would not have put a reminder in my phone, I would have forgotten. So I followed up with her the next day. Still hadn't gone out to her car. She had a newborn. And then, like, 2 hours later or something, I followed up with her again, which feels weird, but she really did want to sign up. So she just literally didn't, she had a newborn. She didn't get out to her car yet. And if I wasn't on it and continuously, like, just checking in on her in a really, like, still casual way, like, she wouldn't have signed up. She probably would still be thinking about it and wanting to go get her card out of the car.
Yeah.
And then, like, another one in the beginning, I think she gave me, like, a payday. So I had to come back on payday, and I think that day didn't work, so I had to follow up, like, 2 days later. So, like Mallory said, just really writing things down and becoming more organized, because I do feel like there are some people I've let, like, slip through the cracks because I thought I would just remember them for some reason, and I don't remember anything ever. But, yeah, so, yeah.
I mean, I know that I need reminded, like, 1000%. And it really didn't hit me until I had a girl from, like, Unique. She became a loyal customer of mine. And so I kind of felt a little bit of this is very early in my business, a little pressured to, like, buy from her. And she was like, hey, like, is there anything? I was like, oh, like, the lip stain is what I was interested in. I hated wearing lipstick because it always, like, came off, and I was like, I'll try a lip stain. Like, if that can stay and, like, not smudge. So I was like, yeah, I would love to order. She goes, okay, here's your link. I'll be like, okay, like, I'll do it tonight. And I would forget. And then, like, honestly, like, I was going to do it and I would forget. And then she'd follow up with me like 2 days later. It's like, hey, I'm just hosting another party. That other one is done now because I was going to, like, help get a hostess, like, some points or something. And I felt so bad. She had to follow up with me 4 times before I was like, okay, I'm sitting at my computer right now. Can you just send it? And so, like, I have, like, done that for people. And so, like, I know what it feels like to be on the other side. And it's just some of us genuinely get busy. We forget. Especially like with kids, there are people I've had slip through the cracks because I'm like, oh, I remember them. Like, and it's like, no, they get like lost in my messages and I forget to write them down. And so, like, just taking the time to, and I keep telling myself, like, every night when I first sit down, I need to go through my messages and write down any new people that I talked to for the day. That way, like, I don't forget. Instagram, I can do like the collections like real easy as soon as I start talking to them, but usually Facebook Messenger, like, those are the people I write down. So just making sure that I have the discipline to write those people down, because we do think, oh, I'll remember, and then we just don't. So writing people down, and the fortune is in the follow-up. Not everybody signs up the first time we talk to them, and so that follow-up is everything. Sometimes, you know, it's just they're not at a right point in their life where they're ready to sign up. Like, they need something to happen, or they need to see that post before they finally, like, sign up. And so you just never know, because some people are like, yeah, payday. And it's like payday comes and you're like, okay, let's go. And they're like, I just paid all my bills and I just don't have any money. It's like, you got paid today and you already don't have money. So it's like, what are you doing for the next 2 weeks? And then, like, what are you doing next month to change that? So it's like, sometimes too, like, I just don't take BS answers. Like, oh, I'm sorry, like, we just got paid. We just spent it all on bills. And I'm like, okay, so, like, how are you surviving for the next 2 weeks? Like, what's your plan next month? Like, is this going to happen again next month? Like, nothing changes if nothing changes. So I think I've just gotten to a point now in my business where, like, I can combat the excuses that people give me and just help them politely see that something needs to change. And it's like, can't tell me you don't have money. Like, that tells me that you need this. If you don't have $20 right now, you better be going couch surfing and, like, finding some coins and gathering up that $20. If you do not have $20 right now to spare, you need this more than ever. And so have you ever had anybody like that where you've had to call, like, the BS?
Yeah, there's people that I've just been like, well, you're going to be in the same situation, and we've talked for, like, 2.5 months every other week, and you say this every time, and now it's only $20. You know, like, these people, I was talking to them during the $50 deal, and then some, like, my favorite is when, like, the $50 deal ends, and the next day they're like, hey, I'm ready. I'm like, no, but they end up coming around eventually. So just, like, continuing to check in with them, and just not giving up on checking in with them, even if you feel, like, awkward. Like, they'll either block you or tell you to stop or something. So just keep checking in with them. Or if you feel weird, you could, like, go on Instagram for some messages, switch back to Facebook so they're not, like, right after the other. Makes me feel a little less awkward sometimes.
And you can, following up too, sometimes I'm not even directly messaging them. I'm just, like, liking and commenting on their pictures to keep, like, my name in the forefront of their mind, like, popping up in their notifications, like, girl, I see you. And then they're going to keep seeing my name and be like, oh, I haven't responded to her yet, or, oh, she's doing that business. So, like, that can be part of the follow-up too, is just making sure that, like, you keep interacting with them and showing them that you're not just all about join my business, and that you're taking time to show an interest in, like, their kids, or just complimenting them on their outfit, or, like, maybe even, like, surprise messaging them, be like, oh, I got a message from so-and-so. She's going to ask me if I'm ready to join, but it's like, hey girl, where did you get your lipstick? It's just, like, a question that kind of catches them off guard. And they're like, oh, like, you're not going to ask me today if I want to join your team. But you are going to have these people too that, like, you talk to them during the $50 deal and you're like, hey, here's another deal. It's $20. And they might pass you up right now. And then, but, like, in 6 months, if we have another deal, might be ready then. And so just, like, keeping everybody up to date on, like, announcements and stuff is a good way to reach out to people, and just kind of keep them in the loop. And so, like you said, if there is somebody who you have followed up with a bunch of times, and it's just kind of like you just don't know where they stand. You can be like, listen, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at in terms of being serious about wanting to do this? Like with 1 being, I'm not interested, and 10 being, sign me up right now. If they're like a 5 or higher, they are interested in wanting to do this business. So you can tell yourself, like somebody tells you a 2, you can just be like, okay, I'm like done following up with this person, and they can just like keep creeping on me until they're finally ready. And then you know which ones to take more seriously too. So some of those people, when you get to the point, you're like, listen, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, where are you? Like, I don't want to keep wasting your time or mine. And just kind of being blunt about it, and that they might take that a little more serious too. And it's just like, it's called BS. That's just what I just don't have time for the BS anymore. Like, I'm just at a point in my business where I'm like, if you don't want to make money, that's fine. I'm going to go help Sarah. And like, if I'll help somebody else. Bless you.
Thank you.
Do you have any last tips for anybody?
2 things. Now when I add people, I go like a couple of pictures, like so their stuff is showing up on my feed, so I can continue to interact with them before I reach out to them. I guess I have 3. The second one would be, I stopped trying to sound so formal, and I just talk like myself, and sometimes I say like LMAO or or other things. So like, know your audience, but like if you're talking to someone that's like, your friend, you don't have to sound so formal like a robot, because they're not going to like really take you for yourself instead of a salesperson.
My younger people, like I will say like Gucci. Like I did try to like at a point to like try to like be hip and cool. Guys, I'm gonna be 30 this year, so like I'm kind of old. But like these younger people that I sign, like some of them are 18, some of them are 20, some of them are 21. I'm cool. I'm hip, you guys. I'm Gucci. Like so, but like knowing your audience, like you said, like knowing your audience and just like kind of just changing how you talk to certain people, but like still being yourself. But if I'm talking to somebody who's a little bit like more my age or a little bit older, because I have people who are older who sign to, not as often, because usually who I add is that younger crowd. I feel like I can like appeal to them a little bit more than the older crowd, but that's good. Okay, what was your 3rd tip there?
Okay, I guess I just thought of them all right as you were telling me goodbye. So I have 2 more now.
Okay, you're good.
If you have like an hourly job that you go into, like you should so take advantage of that, because I haven't been like salesperson. I've been completely honest. Like I just started this. I'm not really sure about it either. And now I'm like, oh no, it is really cool. These products are really good. And I talk casually about things to the people at my work. And now I do have people coming to me like about to order, or just randomly inquiring about certain products that we have. And then the last one would be, and I can't believe this isn't the first thing I said, but when I was at conference, I decided to just write down like a list of loyal customers I will sign in February and a list of distributors that I will sign in February. And Heather was right beside me, probably. Maybe that's why she's nodding her head. But I wrote down like 3 people, and I put them in my chart, and every single one of them signed. And then I had Brittany do it like 3 days ago. 2, like she wrote down 2 names, both of them signed.
Oh my God.
Like that day, like I told her about it, she did it. They signed that day. So like just get your chart out and write down who's going to be in it, and then they will be in it.
You know what I need to do is, and maybe this is a crazy idea, it might work, it might not, but like go through like a list of potentials that like I've been talking to for a little bit, or that I really want to sign, and then make like put all their names on this one list and send them a picture, be like, hey, like look, like I was challenged to write down a list of like 5 people who I think would be, fantastic at this business and would take this seriously. And like, I wrote your name down for a reason, and like maybe showing them a picture, but is that creepy?
No, I like that.
I don't know.
It's feel really
special. It's like, hey, like you're like one of my dream, like idea of like a dream, like distributor, like dream teammate, like, what's holding you back from doing this with me? And just kind of sometimes saying that, like, what is it? Like, what is it that's really holding you back? And just, again, kind of calling the BS. When I mentioned something about your work, like, just like you said, talking casually, they're not feeling sold to. When you're like, yeah, like, I absolutely love the products, like, they're amazing. And then, like, maybe they're kind of waiting for you to be like, do you want to buy some? And then you don't. And then they're like, wait, why isn't she asking me? Hey, why aren't you asking me if I want to buy something? I want to buy something. And, like, you know what I mean? So kind of giving them, like, a FOMO too, and just, like, being casual with it, not always feeling sold to, and just sharing your experience with the products in the business. That's all that I do, you guys. Like, we just share our experiences and what other people are experiencing, and we give people information who are interested, and we just teach those new people how to do the same thing. So just not overcomplicating the process and just, you know, sharing things. So I love that. Was there anything else?
I think that's about it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Allie, I'm doing you last because you're seasoned. Hannah, are you in a good place to talk? Oh.
I do like it out.
Hold on. You were like, it said, why does it show that she's muted, but I could hear her?
Can you hear me?
I can, but my computer is showing me that you're muted, but it's weird. So just like go with it. I'm not going to click anything, but like go ahead and kind of just give us some of your tips for like enrolling, and we'll take what we can hear and run with it.
Okay.
Oh, she gone. Oh. She's trying to come back. It was really weird. It said she was muted, and I hadn't clicked on her yet, and I could hear her. Uh-oh, technical difficulties. Oh. And let me,
Can you hear me now?
yes.
I feel like I'm on like that AT&T commercial where it's like, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. And you dipped as soon as you were starting. We're like, yeah, you're good. Let's go. And then it like, you died and you left.
3 bars. I don't know what happened. But, I'm 23. I'm a state. I started it's about a half ago. I'm a Ruby leader right now. I'm working on double printing 2 diamond. I'm actually filling my double diamond chart, which is insane to even say.
Yes.
But basically, a lot of my girls that I signed in February were like right on the spot, and I think it's because I did a lot of polls on my Instagram, and I was very consistent, because the last like few months I've kind of been like in and out. Like I'm still posting, but I wasn't doing it like all day long.
Yeah.
But one of my girls that signed, I followed up with her probably for like the past 6 months, and she finally signed. Then I had another girl that was actually an LC of mine, and she like fell in love with our hair, skin, and nails. I think she ordered in October, and like her 3rd order ran in December. So like she kind of, I guess she just watched me for the past few months, and she was like, okay girl, like I'm ready to go, like let's do this. So, and she's been a runner, like I'm not going to say any names, but she's been a runner ever since she started. And it just proves to show, like, don't ever give up, because there's been plenty of time in my business where I wanted to, and I've never like said I was going to, but I'm not a quitter. Just keep going. And like I was just telling my mom the other day, it was like, you know, there's been millions of times where I wanted to quit. Like even 2 weeks in, I was like, can I like really do this? And now like look where I'm at. Like I'm not making $10,000 a month yet, but like I'm getting up there, and I've just been working really close with my team, and I'm just trying to work on being a better leader, because I know in the past I've had a lot of people that just sign up and then they ghost me, or you know, they sign up and they don't post, and I give them everything they need to do and they don't do it. And you know that happens, so don't feel discouraged when that happens. Just keep going with it, because you're gonna come across your runner, and you know, not But
Something too is like, you're talking about those LCs, like sometimes LCs make the best distributors. It's like, don't forget to reach out to your people who are loving the products. It's like, hey, like, would you be interested in like still keeping a discount, but like making money with this and like sharing your, like, that's all it is. It's like literally like you've already been using the products, like you've already got your own results. You know, you kind of have the option of like, you can keep an order running, you can just keep, you know, the discount, or like I can teach you how to start making money with this too. And so like you said, like she already had an experience. Some people need to fall in love with the product first. So some of those distributors too, who you follow up with and follow up with and follow up with, and they just like aren't doing it. It's like, hey, let's get you on some products first. Like, I don't know what's holding you back from like wanting to start like making money with this. Like, let's get you on a product first and like get you into the products and just see how you feel after that. So sometimes you need to get them as a customer to start trying the products and just be like, just start telling people like about the product that you're using. Like, you're not even selling it yet. Just like start saying like, oh my gosh, like I'm loving how my skin is feeling. You know, I just started buying this as a customer. And then, you know, by the time they join and they do decide to be a distributor, it's like people know that they've already kind of been like using this and they're going to have their own results and their own like experience. And like that gives them kind of a leg up. And so that's helpful too. Like, don't forget about your loyal customers. I have a specific message I send to people who complete their first 3 months. And I offer the business if I feel like they had a really good experience. Because who wouldn't want to keep getting the discount and make money?
yeah.
So, I mean,
It's like a
especially if you
no-brainer.
loved it. It's like all, you know, like we have just so many other products and just kind of it gets them just a little foot in the door there. So what do you think was like huge for you last month? Like you said, you were like consistent. Were you just talking about like the deal a bunch? Were you sharing your story? I know you said you were doing a bunch of polls.
I honestly, you know, there's the post where everyone, you can share people's stories. Like, I think you do it through Unfold or something like that.
Yeah.
I know I was on this kick for a long time, like, because I'm a stay-at-home mom, so it's like stay-at-home moms, this, that, and the other. But then, like, I kind of forgot, I'm forgetting about, like, this whole other market, like, not just stay-at-home moms. You know, there's college students, there's older people, people that are trying to pay off debt. And so I kind of just try to, I guess, share other people's stories, like Cheyenne's story, you know, Jade's story, which Jade's story is very inspiring if you guys have not seen it yet, which I'm sure most of you on here have, but if you have not, go, like, see her story because it's insane. Same with Cheyenne. Like, really everybody's is, but I think I really relate to Jade's just because I have kids and I couldn't even, like, imagine. Like, it's crazy. But I think I basically just trying to get out of my comfort zone and reach out to not only moms and stay-at-home moms, but also, you know, people that work full-time jobs and college students, stay-at-home dog moms, like basically anything else but stay-at-home moms. And I still do, you know, life posts about being a stay-at-home mom, but I also try to expand my followers.
Yeah.
So
I think that's you. That's like a goal of mine. Like, I want to sign every type of, like, what does an 18-year-old have to relate to me? Like, I have people who are super young, like, signing with me. And so, like, I'm doing something where we're relating at some point. I'm not always talking about being a stay-at-home mom. Because, like you said, even there are moms out there who don't even want to be stay-at-home moms. And, like, making them feel like they have to be a stay-at-home mom in order to do this is just, like, you're not doing yourself justice there with that. So just being like, hey, like, you can still, like, work a full-time job and do this. But so, like, if you guys have a normal job too, talk about how you can multitask and still do this on the side for that extra cash working around your current work schedule. Like, some people are like, I work like 40 plus hours a week. I'm like, cool. I know somebody who works like 2 jobs and they work 60 hours a week and they still make time for this business. And then over time, this business allowed them to cut back at one of their jobs and it put them home at the with their kids more. And, like, they still kept the one job, but they hated that second job. And this business made up for that income and allowed them to cut back and be home more. And so no excuse is, like, good for me. Because we just have seen so many other types of people in this business be successful. And so I love that you said, like, you know, you were doing the stay-at-home mom thing, but, like, realizing that we need to share other people's stories and that other people are doing this because we all just have different things going on. So that's really good that you're kind of like broadening your horizons. I really want to grow like a men's team, like really get like a men like going, like man like going.
Yeah.
So I need to, but I don't share any like men using the products or like success stories. So it's something I need to like start switching to, because I am having more men come in on my Instagram. So I just had like a aha moment for myself there. So see, I even learned something from my own Zoom, you guys. Like this happens a lot, okay? What tips do you have for people aside from what you've already said? Are we present?
Just comfortable about what you're talking about. You know, for the long, I was just doing scripts, and you know, there's still times where I use scripts, and you know, I can still get customers from it. But since I've been in here so long, I've kind of got to learn a lot about the product. So I try to just be like as much me as possible. And I realized that a lot with the girls that I talked to that I did sign last month on the spot, that I just was real with them. Like one of my girls, she was like, just be real with me. Like, this is really worth, like, I want to lose 30 pounds too. Like, I don't want to get into this and, you know, not make any money. And I was like, listen, like, it works. I'm living proof that it works, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you just have to go with people. Just act like you're your best friend, because like could be your best friend if they join your team. But just try to get to know them and not just like, okay, like girl, like buy my stuff, you know? Like we've all been there when you first sign up, you're like, okay, like I need to get these little customers. But now since I've been in here so long, I'm like, okay, like now it's time, like I still worry about myself and getting myself to promote it, but it's also about getting my team to where they need to be and helping my team and, you know, make them get to the goals.
Yeah. And that's like making people's like
yourself and invest it.
You know, making it about them is really huge too. Like, hey, I'm like trying to shoot for this like bonus. Do you want to make money with me? Or you know what I mean? Like figure out what's their why, and like, you know, how much per month would make this worth it for you and why. And like, then you have that, like that why, like, you know, why they need the extra money. And like, you have that in your back pocket now to use as a follow-up. But like making them realize like you are here to help them. Like I want to help you make that extra money so you don't have to choose at the store anymore between like diapers and formula or whatever it is. Like, you know, there are people who are worse off than us. And some of us might not need the business as bad as like we see all these other people. But what you need to realize is you might have somebody on your timeline who absolutely needs this business even more than you. And like you get to be that person to give them that opportunity. And so making it about them and figuring out what it is that they need this business for, they need that extra income for, like you can use that as a superpower and like just kind of making like, look, does this not matter to you? Like I would love to help you, you know, with your goals and get you there. So making it about them and helping them promote. And that's where you're going to come into this leadership too. Like we joined for us, like I joined so I could make some extra money, so I could stay home. And it turns into helping other people with their goals, which in turn helps you with yours, but like it's making it about other people is huge. So that was really good. Do you have anything else to say? Last tip?
It's not really. I mean, basically just, like I said, be yourself. You know, if you're like really new to this, you know, there's the $20 coupon codes right now. Like you could have signed up last week and you just signed your first distributor, and you know, you're new to this too, so don't be afraid to reach out to people that have been in this longer and, you know, get the answers that you need, because you yourself are new. So don't be afraid to ask. That's what we're here for, and that's basically it.
Well, thank you. This is really good. I'm excited. All right. All right. Here she comes. Hey, girl.
Hello, it's my turn.
All right. Give it to us.
Okay.
How have you, so like you have a very funny like beginning with me, and I mean we have a history indirectly, and you used to drive my sister to school,
Mm-hmm.
and then I told you to have a nice life at one point, and
Yep.
then you unfollowed me, and then you joined as my customer, and now you are my first diamond and double and my first triple and priz, and you'll be my first ambassador. So you joined so you could pay for the products you were using, and now look at you. So tell us, how have you, I mean, you've always signed people too. Like you really have. Like you've been one of the top DT enrollers this whole time, like on this team. And so like, what is it that you're doing to get people in?
So there, like I've said this a million times, there's no secret sauce. Like there's not a special message. You just have to figure out what works for you. And what works for me is I use like a different script is what, and not that we like use scripts, but like kind of a different, like
Explanation.
Yeah, explanation, I guess, is like what a lot of people use. And I got that from a Zoom, probably like in the first couple months I started, and that's what I've stuck with, and I really haven't changed it much. So
what's funny is I actually hate the one that you use, but like it works for you.
Yeah.
What I use works for me. And I want you guys to understand that too. Like take tips from different leaders, and like if you're struggling in a certain area, it's like I'm word vomiting on people when I like explain the business. Like get different opinions on how people are doing it, and like try it out for a little bit, like more than 2 seconds, but like try it out. And like I hate the one that Allie uses, but it works for her, and mine works for me. And so it's just like, do you, girl. So I love that you said that real quick, because I hate what you use, but it works.
So what Caitlin uses and what like most people use, they kind of they do control the conversation. They're like, this is what we do. They lay it out all flat, like right off the bat. And I was watching a training almost 2 years ago now. And then they did it a little bit differently. And I was like, I want to try that. And I loved it. So basically anytime I start a new conversation with a potential distributor, whether they message me first, whether they voted on a poll, like no matter where they come from, it's kind of it's not the same conversation, because I did get away from using like step-by-step scripts. I just kind of type it out now. But it's literally the same process each time. So the first thing, whether someone asks for info, how do you make money, no matter what the question is, I kind of like ignore their question at the beginning, and go into this, like, it's not even like a long text, but like a little spiel. And I'm like, hey, yeah, so I'm an It Works distributor, and I like put that right off the bat. Some people they don't say that right off the bat.
I never say I'm with It Works. Like if you know, so I'm not going to have to explain the differences, but it's just like, it's so funny how yours is just so different.
It is literally the opposite of what a lot of people do. And that's why I'm going to kind of talk about my process. So I'm an It Works distributor. I got started right after I graduated nursing school, because a lot of the people I add are in school or like just graduated. So that's kind of why I threw that in there. I started to pay for the products, but then I fell in love with the business like pretty quickly. I've been able to pay for, and I just kind of rattle a few things off, like my mortgage, bills, groceries. Now that I have a baby, I can say some baby stuff. I forget like exactly what it is, but basically, hold on.
No, you talk about, do you know what network marketing is or something?
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I say, especially after, okay, so I have 2 ways to change this up depending on who I'm talking to. Either one, this is what I pay for, more than I ever thought I could make from my phone. And then I kind of throw in, especially after being a like broke college student, because if I'm talking to someone young, I say that, or especially after being a new mom, like depending on who I talk to. Then the first thing I ask, even if they like ask me a question to begin with, like, hey, like how much money do you make? Or like if they ask something, I just kind of disregard that at first, like we'll get to it eventually. And then I ask in the first message I send them, do you know anything about network marketing? 9 times out of 10, people say no, like I have no idea. And they kind of get scared at that point. And that's when I come back with, that's totally fine, me either. Like, you don't need to know, you're going to learn everything. Basically, this is what we do. And like kind of name a few things that we do. And then the reason I do that is because we're all scared. No one knows what they're doing. So right off the bat, I'm like, that's fine. You don't need to know what you're doing. And then I end that with like, how much extra money could help you out a month or something like that. And then that's kind of where I get to their why, how much they could use. And if they're just like a couple $100, I'm like, that's great. That's what most people start for. But the opportunity is endless. I started for this much, blah, blah. you do have like those random people that are like, oh, $5,000. And I'm like, great. Like you can do that too.
Perfect. Like you sound fantastic. Let's
yeah, exactly. And then right after, like as soon as we talk about like the amount of money they want to earn, I straight up say, okay, like that's possible. I'm going to help you do that. But it's not going to be an overnight success. I always say that in all the conversations. It's not going to be an overnight success. It's going to take some effort and some work, but it's fun work, like being on Instagram and talking to people like we do now. And this is kind of where probably Caitlin freaks out, is like, that's pretty much all the info I straight up give them. After that, I let them lead the conversation, because some people are like, great, let's sign up. And like, we get to all the info they need to know, like the website and the auto shipment and stuff like that. We get to it in the sign up process. So I'm like, everything they need to know is there. That's like basically all I knew when I started was I'm screaming, sorry. I knew I wanted to make money. I knew this was going to make me do it. I knew I was going to get free essential oils in my kit. So I was like, sign me up. I've never even used essential oils before then, so I'm not sure why that like had me sold. But
you're like, hi, what the essential oils kit comes in it? Like, yeah, sign me up. And I'm like, okay. You were the only distributor I had signed during that deal for the oils kit.
That's so funny, because like literally I'd never used oils before then. It just got me for some reason. So then after we talk about like how much money they want to earn, I let them lead the conversation, and I just say like, what questions do you have? And that's when they're like, how much is it to sign up? Like, how do you make money? Like, that's kind of when they do the things. And I don't know why I do it this way. I just feel like they can talk about whatever they're concerned about first, and kind of get like work through the things that they're first concerned about, rather than just like overloading them with a bunch of information. Because that's kind of how I feel when I see like that big long script that's like, because that's how it looks like for me. Like, it makes sense to everyone else, but for me, I'm just like, whoa. So that's just kind of how I do it. And somewhere in my phone, I have like a screenshot of like the general scripts that I use that I can post somewhere. And I even have a whole video on my channel about like the scripts that I just talked about. So that's kind of my conversation.
Walkthrough of your conversation. You and I need to work on that so we can get it in the training page boot camp. And like part of being a leader, you guys, is like, even though like I do something like one way, everybody works differently. And like maybe what I do doesn't work for you, and just having another leader's perspective and different go about it is like, you want to give people like different people to relate to and try. So like we need to do that and add that in there so other people can try that. I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna write it down.
But specifically for last month, I don't know how many exactly I enrolled.
I think it's
that's what I was thinking, because I think I used all the codes on one, and then I had to use a different code for this month. But basically I started talking a lot on my actual stories instead of just like writing stuff, or like using posts from
9. Sorry.
9.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just like talk onto my story, and it's like kind of weird, and you feel awkward at first, but like you're gonna live. Like even though you feel really weird, it's like not. And I even catch myself on other people's stories, even if it's someone random that doesn't sell anything, that just is talking on their Instagram. I find myself like stopping on their stories just to like listen. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that helped a lot. Same thing that Mallory did. I did like the 1 through 7. Took people off with that.
You guys, like, y'all can fake it till you make it. Throw some random ass names up there and like make it seem like you've got people coming in like real hot, and that they're about to lose their spot, because they don't need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Make yourself look poppin'.
Yep. Also, just one tip before I forget. Anytime I'm talking to someone, I talk to them like they're already going to sign up. Like, I'm not like, okay, you're going to get this website. I'm like, I don't even know how to describe it.
Like,
but
get in the team page. This is what you're going to do.
Yeah. And I'm just like, not like, well, if you join, this is what you get. I'm like, when you like, I don't know. I just talk to them like they're going to sign up, and I'm kind of already training them kind of in a way. I don't know how to describe it. I'm trying to think of an example. I had it in my head earlier and forgot. But basically, I just talk to them like they're gonna sign. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you'll get your own website. This is what we'll do. And I just like talk to them like they're signed up. Like they're already a part of the team. And then that gets their brains like thinking, like, okay, I'm going to get my own website. Okay, I'm going to be a part of this team. And I don't know, I just feel like just the simplest wording can make a difference. Another thing that I always do, like we talked about, liking or messaging people who liked your life post. I basically say the same thing. I'm like, hey, guess what? Thanks for liking my post. And then I take a quick scroll, see what their posts are like. And then I say like, oh, I love your post. You have a great Instagram or something like that. Compliment them in some kind of way. And then I'm yelling again. Instead of saying, are you interested or could I give you more info? This is just a tiny wording that I have gotten a huge response from, is I say, could you use some extra money? Because like, honestly, I barely ever have people tell me no, they couldn't use some extra money. So I at least get to like that first chunk of my script. And so I can at least get something more, because it's so much easier to say, no, I'm not interested, than to no, I don't want extra money. And it's just like the tiniest little word thing that I almost always at least get my first script to them. And then after that, if they want to do it, they don't, at least they have the info. And then I'd say it's like half and half of people that signed up on the spot and then people that I've been following up with forever. There was one girl who I know from high school, and I'm probably giving it away. I wasn't going to name names, but she's going to know who she is now. I had thought for the longest time she would be so good at this. And for some reason, I just never messaged her. Like, I wasn't like afraid to message her, I guess, but I just never, ever reached out. And then she messaged me. She signed on the spot. She's charted Ruby now. Like, she is enrolled over 15 LCs herself. And if I would have messaged her like months ago when I thought like, wow, she would be really good at this.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't I do that? Like, I have no idea why. So I guess it's just like, I don't know. Don't like hesitate to message people, because you never know who's watching. I had another girl who I messaged her. I barely ever cold message for distributors, but sometimes if there's someone that I think would be good, I message them. I messaged one girl.
Yeah, you messaged Heather, right?
Yeah, I messaged Heather. I also messaged Abby.
Yeah.
And then this girl I messaged like back in April, and she wasn't interested. And then she ended up signing up with the $20 deal. So,
I mean, and there's a chance too, you could have reached out to her like when you thought that you should have messaged her, but you didn't know how to approach her, and she still could have said no.
mm-hmm.
And like still just waited to sign up till now. And there are people who you've never talked to before that sign up on the spot and they're fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same thing where they sign up on the spot and then never do anything. There are people who watch you for 2 years and sign up and never do anything. Or there are people who watch you for 2 years and sign up and they're fantastic. And so like it's just not one thing. It just happens, and you just keep bringing in new people until you find the ones that stick, which is why enrolling distributors is super important, because if you want to grow your paycheck, if you want to move up in the company, if you want to like not get discouraged with like people who aren't working, like go find people who are willing to work and just keep bringing those people in and teaching them how to bring in their own people. So this is super important, because a lot of people struggle with this, and enrolling distributors is kind of like the slower part of it, because once you get the LC thing on lock, okay, like it's pretty easy to get at least 4 your steps to success, and people just struggle with that distributor thing. What other tips do you have?
I did start voice messaging on Instagram. I think that helps a lot, voice messaging on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And then I also kind of just stopped caring, and it, like if someone didn't want to sign up, or like, I feel like when I first started, I was like, here, take my left arm, that's my right arm. Take my left arm, be my distributor. I will like sell you my soul to join my team.
Yeah.
And then like what I've realized is like, if you're begging them to sign up, you're going to have to beg them to work. And it's not worth it. They're probably going to quit. Who knows? You may follow up with someone a million times and they be a rock star, but you can kind of tell from their energy. Mm-hmm. If they're like, yeah, I really want to do this, but this came up, or I really want to do this, but this came up, or if they're just like straight up no. Like Heather, I followed up with for months, but she was still, every time I followed up, it was a no, but it was an excited no, so I didn't give up. And then sometimes you're going to get people that are just straight up no. And I do think once people are interested, they are always interested. So you don't want to forget about them completely. Don't like go unfollow them, because you never know when they're just going to sign up. Mm-hmm. But just like don't care about that. If you have to beg them to sign up, you're gonna have to beg them to work, and that's just gonna like not be fun. Um,
There's a difference between like begging them to sign and like following up, because you guys still want to make sure. Allie's like a follow up, like a crazy ex-girlfriend is how we like to explain it. But she still just said, like, I'm not begging people. It's like, you told me you're interested, so my job is to keep following up with you, like not every hour, but you know what I mean, like with a sane way to follow up with people. But you're still just like, hey, like I'm still here. You told me you want this. Like, is today the day?
Oh, I also have another one. This may be kind of creepy, especially if you're one of these people I've done this to. I'm like sharing my secrets. So on Instagram, we all know like how they have the collections. I like literally have I have it labeled like my wish list on my collections. And these are people that I see, they have great posts. I don't want to like message them right off the bat. I want to try to build up a relationship. I want to be these girls' friends because they look like they're going to be bomb. So some people, I just see their stuff and I message them right away. And then there's some people that I'm like, wow, like they're really cool. I want to be their friend. So I try to be their friend. This is so creepy. Oh, I'm screaming again. Carter went up to get Callie. He's like, you're screaming. I will set notifications on my phone for when they post so I can like kind of stalk them for like a week basically and then message them so they kind of know who I am, comment on their pictures, you kind of like be their friend a little bit and then message them.
You've been watching them, like you've been interacting with them, and like when you finally get that, you're like, hey girl, like I've been seeing like, you know, checking out your profile, and it's like you really have been because you've been interacting for like the last year or two. Versus like if I do that to somebody but I like 3 of their pictures and I message them like, hey, I've been watching you, and they're like, you just like liked my pictures today and like never like,
right.
like it's like my bad. Like I just learned something, like maybe I should be doing that too.
And I don't like do this to everyone because it would just be a lot. But if I do come across someone, especially like when I'm following people and I go to my follow request, I like kind of check them out then. And then if I'm like, dang, they look like they'd be really good. They have a good following. They have great pictures. They post a lot. That's what, like, I add these people that are like, I think they're going to kill it. Like, not that like anyone I message, I think they're going to do great. That's why I'm reaching out in the first place. But these people are like special people.
Yeah.
So creepy, but it works.
You guys know that like Allie's been with me for a while, and her and I like talk almost every day now, like literally every day. And I've written down like 5 different things that I've learned from her already, and I enrolled her. So like, please keep that in mind too. Like I'm always learning. I'm not always right. There is more than one way to be successful and do things in this business. And I think just hearing from, especially like the 7 different people we had here today, what just everybody's doing, essentially it's all the same way, but just like different lingo or just like different, you know, schedules and like great like follow-up tips. Some of us probably follow up better than others, and you know, everybody that was on here have different weaknesses and different strengths, and like when we come together and we give these tips, I hope everybody takes at least one thing away from something that they heard. So I know this was kind of a longer Zoom. I knew it was going to kind of be, especially because I just wanted you guys to just tell us what you did, because this is so important that I think people overcomplicate it a little bit. They don't have enough confidence yet. And I think those are the 2 things that people struggle with. Like it's just not enough confidence to try to enroll their own people when they're just like brand new or just feeling like, you know, they don't know how to lead them.
And like it took me a couple months to sign my first distributor. So if you're in your first month or 2 or even your 3rd month and you are struggling, like that's okay. It's totally fine. I think I signed my first customer or my first distributor during the $10 deal, and literally everyone was signing up. So I did sign people. Then that was probably like my 2nd or 3rd month. But then after that, it did take me a couple more months to get someone to sign up for the $99. And so just because you're in your first month or you're in your 2nd month or even your 3rd month and you haven't signed a distributor up, it's not the end of the world. Cami Pentecost, I think it took her 6 months to sign up a distributor.
Yep.
That's more the CEO's daughter, guys.
Yeah. Jocelyn was like executive for like 9 months or something like that. Like she's an ambassador now. So wait, you mean to tell me there's hope for people who have never rolled a distributor and they've been in for 9 months? Like, is there hope for them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's hope for everyone. If you believe.
Believing is huge, and never giving up, and always having an open mind and being willing to learn and try new things and not being stuck in your ways. and just staying disciplined at the end of the day.
I'm done after this one last thing. I was listening to a video of someone, I think it was Dee Brooks, and she said never ever quit like on a bad month, because you're like, even though you're not signing people, you're planting all those seeds. If you're going to quit, you need to quit on a good month, because you have signed the people that you were just talking to.
Yeah.
If you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not signing even just customers, I'm not signing customers, I'm not signing distributors, don't quit that month, because next month they're all going to sign up. Next month they're going to get paid. Next month they're going to have, like, timing's going to be right. This month it just wasn't their time. You're planting so many seeds, and you never ever want to quit on a bad month, because that next month they're all going to be ready to sign.
Yeah.
So that's something that I was just like, wow. when I heard her say that, I was like, that's so true. Like, if you quit, like, last month I didn't sign near as many like customers, I guess, as I did in January. If I would quit, then, like, think of how many seeds I just planted, and that, like, they're all going to get harvested this spring. It's boom season.
Yeah, and if you're not here to sign them, I will gladly take your list and your followers off your hands and sign them myself. That's what I want to tell people who quit. Like, can you just, like, give me your list then? Like,
Yeah.
Like, please and thank you. You guys, this was so good. Thank you all so much for your tips and just kind of sharing your secrets. And I will get this uploaded. Let me end it.